Excellent. Okay, I thought this was a nice image to start with, relating to travel and Facebook. So the power of Facebook. I've pretty much mainly covered Facebook, to be honest, John, just within this presentation, but I can link it to Instagram and the others as we go through, because it obviously all correlates anyway. Obviously, Facebook needs no real introduction in terms of the power that it has to offer for us all. Not just obviously on a social aspect, but also as a business aspect as well. So just to kind of go over a few of these points, the world's third most visited website. Obviously, it's a statement for itself in terms of kind of the power that the Facebook has to offer. Second most downloaded app, with Instagram pretty much being number one. Obviously, as Meta's kind of sidekick to that. The astounding number of people that actually use it on a monthly basis. Yeah, obviously up in the 2.74 billion, maybe even more now, since the pandemic. This was kind of some research that was done last year as well. And the one that stood out for me as well, it's kind of hard to get your head around this one, but Facebook reaches 59% of the world's social networking population, meaning all the social network platforms, Facebook is the one that is over the half of the population that in terms of its reach that it gets. So again, this is just to kind of paint the picture in terms of what Facebook can do for us all as business owners, and then also as a side to that on a social aspect as well in terms of how we use it going forward. So John, the video you put up yesterday was very good. It kind of covered a lot of what I was kind of going to touch on. I've put it into 5 core things. Some of the things that were said on that video kind of relate to parts of these, but I just wanted to kind of go through these 5 steps. And this, if you're going to, in my opinion, if you're going to take anything away from what I said today, is going to be around these 5 steps in terms of all these things that we could all do to allow us to not only be visible on social media, but also stand out and create that engagement amongst people to be able to then get more business generating for us all. Okay, but this can go on, this could be various sorts of things that you put out on social media. So even if it's not business related, if you wanted to try and get more engagement in your post, these are the sort of steps that you would follow to allow yourself to do that. So the main one being at the start is create an engaging post. Okay, I think it was Colin last week when we were on the call, he shared something about the new brand that he was going to pull together, and he pulled it up on the screen. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was about trying to engage the viewer or the person that is going through Facebook to kind of engage in whatever his post was. So that's one of the main things. So this can be done by asking questions. It can be done by imagery. It can be done by video. So this is to really pull in to the person that you are trying to reach. So for me, within my business, if I pull together, I don't know, an itinerary for Thailand, I want some amazing Thailand imagery there for people to see that and be like, wow, what's this all about? Let's read on. Oh, and there's a question at the end. Let's maybe ask that or answer that or get in touch with Elliot or whatever it may be. For my business, it's in a way, it's fairly easy for me to do that. I appreciate other businesses would struggle to kind of maybe have an image that would pull people in. But the power of video in recent times as well, and I think the last presentation I did a few months back, John, was mainly around the video aspect and really trying to promote video. Facebook and Instagram and obviously YouTube, of course, absolutely love the video content, and that's what's driving a lot of engagement within posts at the moment. So pulling together videos, I went through a phase probably a year ago, 6 months ago, when I was starting to do more video. If I'm honest, my social media over the last 6 months has dropped off. Well, last few months has dropped off quite a bit, but it was a good actually step, and I'm glad you mentioned it to me today, John, to kind of jump back into it and look at this, because it gets my head in gear for the new year as well. But yeah, creating engaging posts to really draw that person in that you're trying to, or avatar or whatever that we're trying to really reach, is kind of the step around number 1. Number 2, so once you've got that post, so for example, that will relate to that Thailand post that I was just talking about, amazing trip where you're going into Bangkok, you're going up to Chiang Mai, you're heading down to Phuket, you're going to go and visit the elephants in Khao Sok National Park. Once that post is out there, interact with your followers. So if Guy was to comment saying, amazing, I've been there, absolutely loved it, brilliant, get back to him, say, when did you go? How was the experience? How long did you spend there? Start posing those questions to really interact with your followers. Never, if somebody comments on your post, just get back to them, even if it's a simple like, or you reach out externally away from the platform, whatever it may be. Obviously Facebook wants you to kind of keep you on the platform, so if you can interact via the comment section on whichever platform you're using, amazing, because the more interaction you get, the more visibility you're going to get, the higher reach you're going to get from that as well. Okay, it kind of says a lot about how all these social media channels work. As long as you're kind of creating a post, a like, a share, I think the presentation I did before as well, I talked about if you like it, it's like 1 point. If you love it, it's like 2 points. If you comment, it's like 3 points. The more points that you're trying to combine together, that's how much reach your post is ultimately going to give. So if John and I put a post out exactly the same time and John had 20 points and I had 5, if you're going to do it on that, John's will definitely get more visibility because he's got more interaction with his post. Be consistent. Again, this is something that I need to be better at. I recognize that, but be consistent in your posting. And what I mean by that, it could be around your brand. So again, for me, if I was looking at more tailor-made trips, I would try and maybe put my brand out there as being tailor-made, long haul, bespoke, that sort of stuff, and be consistent with my posting in that respect. But also in terms of duration and how often you post, that's the main thing. If you post once a week or you post 5 times a week, of course, there's going to be a difference in terms of how much engagement you get. That's fact. It's kind of common sense in that respect. But also, it's then how you engage it. You don't want to just put a post out there for any non-reason, just to tick the box to say you've done a post. And this, to be honest, is why I struggle, and a lot of people do struggle with time sometimes to be able to do that, because it takes a lot of thinking time. And let's not forget that. This is one of the things that you want to put your mind to it. You want, if you're putting something out there to display your business, you want to make sure it's right. You don't want to make sure there's any spelling errors in there or whatever it may be, just to really try and pull in that engagement. So another thing is just to really think about, if you are going to post, maybe scheduling. I'll talk about this at the end, but scheduling in advance. So I know that there's a couple of people on this call that do that, but also just trying to make sure, if it's coming up to Christmas, are you going to put a Christmas post in there related to your business? Do you offer something in the way of Christmas that you could kind of showcase out there? So just be consistent, post regularly. That's the best way to be recognized. But also, just to mention on that, don't overload it. If you overload it, that's when your content will kind of start to fall away. So Facebook will love that you post, and you'll post again, brilliant, and you'll post again, great. But if there's too much there and there's too much going on, the algorithm will recognize that, and it will kind of filter down some of the stuff that isn't getting engagement. And it's almost pointless you doing it. So it may waste half an hour of your day, which could be used, obviously, with other time going forwards. Change content to allow users to stay on Facebook and not other channels. So again, this is one thing when you think about it. Facebook is a platform that's competing against the other businesses like YouTube. Okay, obviously a lot of them are under one bracket now, under Meta, as you said, John, but they all want you to stay on their pages. Okay, so if I put a YouTube link in there, great, there's a video. But can I use that video in another aspect where I can have it on my laptop to then pull together on Facebook? So it's playing via Facebook, as opposed to clicking into YouTube to then taking you off the Facebook channel into YouTube, where arguably it's a competitor. And then obviously your content will then be kind of brought down in the channels and not pushed up as much, because you're basically telling Facebook that you want to take people off your page. So that's kind of one thing just to be aware of. Johnny did a really good blog for me a couple of months ago, and what I plan to do with that blog is maybe either break it down into a couple of chunks, or indeed put it together in one bit, but add it into Facebook as opposed to a link to take the viewers off Facebook to my webpage, because again, this is going to cause more engagement and it will allow people to stay on Facebook as opposed to taking them off to, well, not a competitor, but my website. They don't like people kind of going away from the website. So that's another thing just to be mindful of as well. And that could be anything. It could be imagery, it could be blogs, it could be videos, whatever it may be. Even if it's just having a short snippet of the video as opposed to a 5-minute video, and pulling that together to allow that engagement straight away. That will allow people to kind of stay within it, and therefore like, comment, share, whatever it may be. Finally, again, another thing which, as business owners, this is gonna help us, but it's picking and choosing when. This is all about boosting posts. So as you all know, with Facebook, you can boost your post and you can put a paid element on that post to be able to become more visible to other people. But again, it's important to say, a bit like the point number 3 on here, is you should only boost the ones that you believe are going to get the furthest reach. And also allow you to kind of create that engagement, which is ultimately what you're wanting. If you boost every post, it's not going to work. And with that as well, you need to make sure you're narrowing down to your target audience. Again, the avatar. Who are you really trying to want to hit with this post that I'm doing? Again, Thailand example. Backpackers, maybe, if you wanted backpackers to go there, or high-end spenders that are wanting an amazing trip of a lifetime. They're probably my 2 target areas that I could do that. I could pitch one at X amount of money, and I could pitch one at the other one with the highest standard of the hotels. If I'm going for the highest standard of hotels, I might filter down to those that I think are maybe going to want to be able to do those trips, maybe those that are just retired. So I'm going to narrow down the search on my Facebook when I boost it to maybe 50 to 70-year-olds within the Norfolk area or within the Suffolk area, or whatever it may be. Is you can narrow down the search with that. So if you ever were to boost a post on Facebook, just look into the little bits and the elements that are within that, because again, if you just spend £5 and you just press boost and you don't know who you're sharing it to, yes, it's going to get a high reach, but you're not going to be targeting the people that you want. You may get people on who are seeing your post that at the age of 17 or 18 or 19 that are no way going to be investing in whatever your business is. So again, it's just all about being very clever about who you are kind of trying to promote your post to. So Facebook Business Suite. So this is something that's recently launched. This is a platform that, as I've said on there, it's a tool that will allow us all to promote and build our business. Okay, so you've got Facebook and you've got Facebook Business Suite. This arguably is where we all as business owners, if we're doing it from a business point of view on Facebook and trying to promote our business or add value to what we're offering, we should use Facebook Business Suite. It's a really good platform. It's taken me a little while to get used to a little bit. And as I said, the last few months I haven't engaged in it too much, but I'm aware of the details that it has. And I know that other successful travel counselors within the business, again, use this very, very well. It's a great tool because, like I said, it allows you to schedule posts. It allows you to kind of have the insights in your posts. And the insights are really crucial when it comes to targeting your audience that you're trying to get. Go back to my point 5 on the last slide. About boosting. If I'm boosting a post and I'm trying to target those 50 to 70-year-olds to go to Thailand on this once in a lifetime trip, how many people have seen that post and what is a target? So who out of that 50 to 70-year-olds have engaged in it? Have they clicked into it? If they've clicked into it, have they liked it? Have they then clicked on one of the links? Have they then followed up with me? Whatever it may be. So all the insights related to the post you can get on the business, the Facebook Business Suite. This is kind of what it looks like if you haven't seen it. It's an account that you can just set up alongside Facebook. These are just a few screenshots of kind of what it looks like. The one at the left is kind of like the main homepage. So on the left, sorry if I get too close to the screen here. So you've got home, activity, inbox, so like your messages, you've got your posts, ads. So if you want paid ads like boosting, you've got your insights there and just other tools that you can use within the business suite. So this is where your messages will pop up. If you get a message, somebody wants to engage in you after seeing your post, you can see there your recent posts. It talks about how many people is it reached. Do you want to boost it further? What the engagement is, what platform it is on as well. So the really good thing about Facebook Business Suite is it links Instagram and Facebook together. Okay, so if you look at the top right image here on the screen, you can see that there's an Instagram icon and a Facebook icon. I'm going to do a quick demo if I've got a couple of minutes at the end here, just to quickly jump on and just show you. But basically, when you put a post on, you can add it to Facebook or you can add it to Instagram, and you can edit them individually and schedule them for the week. So again, this is from July this year, but this is somebody's Instagram and Facebook that they've scheduled their post for at certain times throughout the day that suits them as well. And just finally, to point out on that top right screenshot as well, you'll see that they've got specific times in there. So they've got 11:15, for example, on the Tuesday, the 29th. They've got 6:52. That is probably going to be based around when they get the most engagement for them personally. Okay, so again, when you're thinking about posting, look at your insights, look at when people are going to be online. I'm laughing because I spent a couple of years in Australia, and that's when I used Facebook the most. You can probably guess what I'm going to say now. When I looked at my insights, it was people seeing my post at 3 a.m. and I was thinking, how is that possible? Why are people engaging with my content at 3 a.m.? It's because my Facebook was assigned to Australia, and obviously I needed to work around that. And obviously over time, it's kind of pulled along the wayside that my peak time for people to view my posts are between 6:30 and 7:30 in the evening. Probably for most people, that's going to be the same. There's different research out there to suggest when to post with what different platforms. But again, it's just something to be mindful of when you are posting. Don't just post sporadically. Don't just post when you've got 5 minutes. If you are going to do that, post when you've got 5 minutes, but schedule it for the time that's going to be right for you and the business. So I'm just going to jump off this one, and then I'm just going to share my screen again on Chrome. Just let me know when you guys can see that one. Perfect. So this is my kind of homepage of the business suite. Again, I don't want to go through this in detail because there's a lot to it, but just to kind of go through one of the basic things about creating a post. So as you can see on the left-hand side here, this is kind of what I was talking about a second ago with the planner, the post, the inbox, notifications, settings, all that sort of stuff. So you can fiddle around with that, and I'd recommend after this call having a play around with that just to kind of become familiar with the site as well. You can see at the top here, that's my Facebook business account, okay, and that is my Instagram account, okay. So they are combined on this page, as John said at the start, under like the Meta brand. They've kind of pulled it together within the Facebook business suite as well. This is when some of the messages pop up. As you can see, like there's a few there. There's some posts that I've done over the last few months that you'll see on there. It talks about the reach, how many likes I got and stuff like that. Again, this is something that I'm looking to improve in the new year. So on the main page, you've got create post on the top right hand side here. So if I just click that, and this is where it will give me the option to either do a post to Instagram and Facebook, or I can just choose one. Just for an example, I pulled together one earlier, which I'll just paste in here. There we go. So Yosemite National Park, somebody might be familiar with it. Incredible national park up in the west coast of America. Again, you can fiddle around with the wording. I'm not going to necessarily this is the best wording or whatever it may be, but this is just an example. So there's my information. I've chosen just to do it on Facebook. Okay, I'm going to add a photo in here as well. So this is Yosemite. So this is relating to the post. So mine's all about Yosemite National Park, just to entice people to think about that maybe for their next trip. And then because I went there as well, I'm going to try and get a bit more engagement. I was at the top of Yosemite Falls as well. So there's a photo of me. So I'm talking about Yosemite itself. And then also I've got a photo of me there from my time when I was up there. I'm just going to shift. So there's my post. Again, if the really good thing about this is there's my Facebook. So it says Facebook there. So this is my post for Facebook. I can edit this a little bit if I wanted to make it related to Facebook. You might ask about hashtags. Hashtags are very good on Instagram, not so much on Facebook. Hashtag is a completely different thing, which I don't want to go into too much detail because of time. But again, I'm happy to speak to any of you about that. Instagram, as I said, is the one where you would probably use a few more hashtags. So because I'm only just going to do this on Facebook and not Instagram, but if I had Instagram, I could click on that icon there. That would take me through to the write up for Instagram here, and then I can add the hashtags in the bottom. So people always used to say to me, oh yeah, but you can share them between the two, but they don't really correlate in terms of what they're trying to offer, and you need hashtags. This is what the business suite is then therefore offered. So if I quickly summarize, so there's my post, Yosemite National Park, special place, special memories, all that sort of stuff. There's a photo. There's me at the top of Yosemite Falls. You can't really see it. I look a bit worn out there, don't I? But then you go down here and then you go schedule post. Okay, so let's do this one for today. So as I said at the start of the call, my peak time is not 3 o'clock in the morning. It is, why is that not working? Let's go with 6:35 p.m. Okay, so tonight at 6:35 p.m. This is going to be when I'm going to post. Actually, interestingly, it said here when people are most active. So this is probably updated in the last few months, actually, since I've, like I said, done a lot of posting. So that's actually recommending that I do it at 9 p.m. From past experience, like I said, that might have changed over the last few months because I haven't been that active. But based on past experience, I'm going to do it at 6:35. So I'm going to save that. And then that is when I click that button there, and that's when I schedule the post. So if I go into my planner, there you can see my post is ready for 6:35 tonight. And that is just going to be on the Facebook page. And yeah, that kind of summarized a quick demo that I just wanted to do. Like I said, I think it's always handy just to kind of jump onto the suite as well, just to kind of go through it, because I know that it can be fairly confusing when you start to think about it. But yeah, just to summarize, yeah,